Hello, everyone, and welcome to FemsTech podcast. I'm Nadira Ahmedi, your host for today's episode. On this podcast, we dive into conversation with inspiring individuals who are making a difference in their communities and beyond. Today, I'm thrilled to be joined by Forough, a trailblazer in the field of education and technology. Before we begin, let me introduce myself. I'm a board member of FemTech, a passionate advocate for women in technology, and currently pursuing my master's degree in artificial intelligence at Technische Hochschule Würzburg-Schweinfurt. I'm excited to explore the intersection of education, technology, and empowerment with our guest today. Our guest today, Forough, has an incredible journey from being born a refugee to becoming a leader in education and technology. Raised in Iran after her family fled Soviet-invaded Afghanistan, Fereshteh's parents instilled in her a love for learning. She earned her bachelor's in computer science in Herat, followed by a master's in Germany. Returning to Afghanistan, she taught at Herat University for 2 years before founding Code to Inspire or CTI in 2015. She founded the CTI, the country's first coding school for girls that has impacted our 550 students. And Fereshteh is now pioneering blockchain and cryptocurrency technology in Afghanistan. Her story is one of resilience and empowerment, and we're excited to learn more. Before we dive into our conversation, let's give Forough the opportunity to say hello and share a brief introduction from her perspective. Dear Fereshteh, over to you.
Well, thank you so much, Nader John, for having me in your amazing podcast. Hi to your listeners. And I'm very excited today to share a little bit about my story and how I established Code to Inspire and our journey with Code to Inspire and the girls and women education in Afghanistan. As you said, I was born as a refugee in Iran during the Soviet invasion. And I moved to Afghanistan in 2002, 1 year after the fall of Taliban. My parents are from Herat. It's a city in west part of Afghanistan, where I got my bachelor in computer science. And then I went to Germany and I got my master's in computer science in Technical University of Berlin. Went back and taught as a computer science professor for about 3 years in the university. And 2012, I came to the United States, and since then I've been living in the US and working remotely and operating the foundation and organizations virtually.
Thank you, Ms. Fereshteh, for that wonderful introduction. It's truly inspiring to hear about your journey and the impactful work you have been doing. I would love to know more about some of your experiences and insights. So let's start with key moments shaping your path. Can you please share with us some key moments or experiences that have shaped your remarkable path?
Yeah, absolutely. Well, I guess as I said earlier, because of my life story being born as a refugee and the challenges and the discriminations that refugees are facing in the host country, and for a lot of Afghan refugees in Iran, going to school and accessing education was a big challenge. And even to access certain infrastructure services, such as opening a bank account, and applying for different jobs, was very limited. And I think from such a young age, I learned that no one should be discriminated just because of their differences. And education is a basic fundamental human right, and everyone should have access to education. And then, of course, my life as a woman studying technology and computer science in Afghanistan and then teaching computer science definitely not only as a very male-dominated field of study, but also a very male-dominated culture and conservative. Women such as myself and my classmates at the time were facing lack of equal resources and opportunities, right? For example, if you wanted to go to use internet, not all of us had internet at home or laptops. So we had to stay at university late, or we had to go to internet cafes and pay for the internet. And it was expensive, and not many girls had the opportunity to do that. And the backlashes, you face as a woman who want to be vocal and want to bring change in the community. And I think these were the reasons that kind of like made me to think how I can change the situation of girls and women in technology, not only in education sector, but also in employment opportunities as well.
Mhm. Thank you for sharing those valuable moments. It's inspiring to hear about your journey. Now, moving on to our next topic about Code to Inspire. Can you tell us more about Code to Inspire and its impact on empowering girls in Afghanistan?
Sure. I founded Code to Inspire really based on three important pillars. One, I wanted to create a space only for girls and women so that they feel safe and comfortable coming to this space. And even families who may have issues with mixed gender environment would feel comfortable, but also just a place that they can, be free, raise their hands, ask questions, and don't be, ashamed of raising their voice. Second, we offer all the classes free because we know that a lot of the girls come from a challenging financial background. So we didn't want to have this as a financial burden for them. And the third, which is the basic fundamental of the work, is what kind of technical skills we can teach these young ladies that can be converted either into work opportunities for them in Afghanistan or possibly remote work. So in 2015, I founded Code to Inspire, as you said, the first coding school for girls and women in Afghanistan. And we do have a location in Herat, which the students used to come in person. The classes we offer in coding are front end, back end, full stack, web design, and then game design, which we use Unity Engine, and mobile application, which we use Flutter, and then blockchain crypto, and then graphic design, which is basic fundamental of graphic design, animation, and UX UI. So far, we've educated more than 550 girls in our coding and graphic design classes. And since the fall of Afghanistan in August 2021, we shifted our entire operation online, and we've been teaching coding and graphic design classes using Google Classroom to the girls and women in Afghanistan.
Cool, fascinating. That's a great achievement. Thanks for your concise answer. Now we would like to hear about a memorable success story from Code to Inspire that highlights the transformative power of education and technology. Can you tell us something about this?
Well, I guess every story and every girl who joined to Code to Inspire has some personal, success story in my eye, because when we have girls join the school, a lot of them lack basic fundamental digital literacy, tech literacy, or even English. But then when they join, they understand the importance of learning English, and we can see a drastic improvement in students' performance, and raising their even voices and being more vocal. But I think one part of our program is that we not only want to expose these girls to STEM and tech education, but also we want to support them to pave a path for to become economically independent and be self-sufficient. So we do have a lot of great examples of girls who joined our school and they barely knew about programming or graphic design, but because of the resources we provided, they learned. And once they graduated, we were able to support them by giving them remote work. For example, we've outsourced about 65 projects worth of $70,000, all our coding or graphic design projects, to our students and alumni in Afghanistan. And even before the August 2021 and Taliban take over Afghanistan, about 60 to 70% of our graduates were working, and earning above average income monthly salary, which is $150. So some of them would make double or triple the men in the family. And 40% of them were actually the main breadwinner. So these are the stories of girls who didn't have resources, but by giving them equal opportunities and resources and helping them to find a path for employment, not only they supported themselves, but now they support the families. And in a nutshell, I could say they were able to support their communities and in the longer term, the economy of Afghanistan.
Yeah, nice. It really highlights the transformative power of education and technology. Thanks. Now, looking ahead, how do you envision the future of technology and education in Afghanistan, particularly for women and girls? Like,
Well,
yeah,
yeah, go ahead.
yeah.
Um, Well, I mean, that's an interesting question because if you look at what happened before August 2021, at least 2 decades of a lot of, improvements and opportunities for women to take part in a different level of education, employment opportunities, women become women entrepreneurs and open businesses was growing. But of course, sadly, with what happened with the Taliban taking over, many of those opportunities were taken from women. So it's difficult to project and say what will happen in the future, especially in a politically unstable or unstable environment that's been changing, and women are, being oppressed, and their basic fundamental human rights are taken away from them. But from at least our experience and what we do, the future of education and technology, especially with remote work and a lot of possibilities for doing things online, can open a lot of doors for you to be able to even work safely from home, and be able to still access to the global economy, not only to establish, a network with other people, but also perhaps pursue opportunities for employment. And I think that's what we do right now at Code to Inspire, right? With the resources we provide, of course, we can't ignore that the challenge is to be able to get into tech industry and the global economy. It's the resources such as laptops, internet, and electricity. These are three things that are lacked in the current situation in Afghanistan. Many people are not able to afford to buy laptops, to pay for internet, and electricity is unstable. So I guess we have to first overcome and come up with a plan of how we can distribute these tech resources equally to women, to be able first to access educational resources and be able to enhance their educational experiences, and then how we can leverage that in a way that we can connect them to more of a sustainable ecosystem so that they would be financially in a better position.
Your vision for the future is really insightful, and thank you for sharing that. On a related note, you have been involved in introducing blockchain and cryptocurrency technology to Afghanistan. Can you share more about this initiative and its potential impact?
Yes, I learned about cryptocurrency and Bitcoin at the time in late 2013. And I was very fascinated with the technology, how disruptive it is, especially in case of privacy, but also how it really tackles the digital barriers and financial barriers for people who are being deprived to be part of the bigger financial system. And it overcomes the challenges of traditional financial institutions such as bank or third-party platforms like Western Union or MoneyGram that may have limited resources in case of, let's say, if you have lack of documentation, if you are displaced, if you're a woman who won't be able to get the permit, for yourself to be able to have a account for yourself, and the other challenges, especially if you live in in a country or a place that politically is not stable. So you want to have power over your financial resources. And that was very fascinating to me. And when I learned about it, I started to do some small, transactions and projects and then crypto to Afghanistan, and help the girls to be able to not only understand about this technology and how powerful it is, but also navigate pathway to see how we can use it as a way for the girls to get paid. And since then, we've been accepting cryptocurrency also as donations for our organizations, but also sending payments to Afghanistan to pay for, our girls' work, but also cover our expenses as well.
Wow, that's fascinating. Thanks for elaborating on that. Now we're shifting to the next question. How do you see the role of women in technology evolving globally? And what initiatives are you currently involved in to support these?
Well, I would say that there's definitely has been a lot of progress since the involvement of women in technology globally. I would say, for example, we can see an increase in representations. More women are pursuing careers in STEM and tech. And that happens because now there are more educational and extracurricular programs that are geared towards only girls and women, to encourage them to join the STEM. There are more scholarships that that's aimed to towards that and reduce the gender gap. We see more women are taking roles in leaderships in different companies, and that actually influence the decision making process of the companies, and it will also help with the future plans and inclusivity. We also see more women in the tech or STEM that are having innovative ideas, and create groundbreaking projects, and that significantly, and contribute, to the world of tech and bring different perspectives. And I think we also see more advocacy, and policy making progress in case of women, being an advocate for gender equality in technology and help the policymakers to come up with better, decisions in the future. So we see the momentum, and I think that's great to see that there has been a lot of progress. And of course, there are a lot of initiatives that support women in technology. For example, in Afghanistan side, Code to Inspire is one of those initiatives, that provide, tech education for girls and women. Or Girls Who Code. It's a global organization that do offer, summer programs and online resources for women. There's a lot of mentorship networking programs, that offer, a community for women in tech with mentorship, career development. And there are also organizations that they do advocate for, joining more girls and women into STEM. So I think this shows that there are a lot of progress, and that would drastically influence the increasing number of girls and women into the tech and STEM field.
Yeah, it was great to hear your perspective. Thank you for that. What advice do you have for young women aspiring to pursue careers in technology, especially those facing similar challenges to what you have overcome?
Well, I guess based on my personal experience, founding an organization or being a founder and an entrepreneur and start everything from zero and scratch, the first thing that I would suggest is to believe in yourself. I think confidence is a key here, because if you believe in your abilities and the potential of your idea, doesn't matter how risky it can be, or if you face, with doubt and skepticism from other people, you still have that, desire and passion in you to follow what you believe. So I think that's definitely, to me, a key. But of course, I think along the way, it's always good to seek additional advice, improve your skills or education, depend on what area you are trying to, work, and kind of like be more resourceful and learn and update your knowledge. I think that's something that also is very important, because then you keep informed as much as you need for, the future work that you're doing. Um, I think finding mentors and coaches or role models can help a lot. Always try to find people who might be a few steps ahead of you, because they already walked that path. So they can definitely provide more guidance and support. And you and being an entrepreneur or a founder can be lonely sometimes. So if you can find a mentor that you can rely on, not only for professional feedback, but also, have some mental, and mental support, emotional support, that would be great. Um, and also embrace, I guess, the challenges and failures, definitely as an entrepreneur, because that's something that you're trying to create from scratch. And there are going to be a lot of risks and challenges, and look at the failure as a way that would take you to the next step, rather than something that make you give up. Um, and create a network. Try to go to different events in person, or use online social media platforms to advocate for yourself and create a network of people around your work who can support you. And I think the last is definitely, again, stay resilient and persistent. I think persistency is the key here, because you will be, it would be a tough journey. There's a lot of ups and downs, and sometimes you're motivated, sometimes you're, disappointed. So if you stay focused on your goal and be persistent, you certainly will see the growth over time.
Thank you so much for that. Your advice is very encouraging and practical. Another topic that I'm also really interested in is entrepreneurship. As we know, entrepreneurship is a key aspect of driving innovation and change in the tech industry, especially for women. We would like to hear like two questions. First, what advice do you have for aspiring female entrepreneurs who want to make a difference in tech? And second, what suggestion would you offer for overcoming the unique challenges they may face in this field?
Well, I guess some part of this question is relevant to the previous question in case of what would be the advice. And I think for the female tech entrepreneurs who want to pursue, their dream and, have an idea, first, the important thing is to identify your passion and the real world problem you're solving. So if you find that niche or that real problem, then you have a clear mindset of your goals and the next milestones. Because at the first, it's easy to jump from one branch to another branch and have a lot of ideas and thoughts, and that can be exhausting. So if you would be able to make a niche out of what you particularly are interested to pursue, then that would help you to identify your goal, roadmap, and milestones. And as I said, learn to leverage your network, because when you start an idea first, it might be difficult because you're alone. So try to reach out to the network you have, friends, people you met in conferences, and ask them for their support and perhaps resources they can share with you, because you can't do everything by yourself, and you need people to come and help and support you. And then prepare your, be prepared for questions, because when you are creating a product or, working on your idea as an entrepreneur, you want to go and pitch it to other people for support. So make sure that you have a clear business plan, and business model, so that when you go to attract people who want to join your board or join as an investor or provide support, they have a good understanding of what's the journey look like. And when you're building a team, when you're bringing people to a board as co-founders, advisors, try to make the board as diverse as you can. I think diversity is important because you can bring people with different skills to the table, and each of them can bring different perspectives. So be open-minded about bringing, people with different backgrounds to a board. And again, stay resilient and persistence. It's challenging, but you have to remain focused on your long-term vision, and that's how it, keep you move forward. And I think the second question is regarding, the challenges that the female entrepreneurs particularly may face. It's definitely, people either consciously or unconsciously can have gender biases, right? You may face gender biases when you reach out to people or ask for help and support. So gender inequality within the tech or female entrepreneurship, you can face that. You may even have a lack of access to funding. There might be less funding opportunities that are women-centric, and grants that they may give, to only, let's say, female owners. And that can, be a bit challenging. And, I guess, again, understanding how you can create a balance between your work and personal life, because, in day-to-day tasks, female entrepreneurs may get caught up also in a lot of personal life that the family may expect them to do as they, used to do. And that might, consume some time. So I guess that's are some of the challenges that I think. But again, the key would be just be persistent, build a network around their word, seek advice from, mentors and coaches, and advocate for your work.
Thank you for sharing such valuable advice. It's really inspiring. Lastly, I would like to ask, what are your hopes and aspirations for the future, both personally and professionally, in continuing to empower women through education and technology? Additionally, do you have a message you would like to share with our audience? You're free to say.
Definitely, personally, I would like to, grow my own skills as well, learn more about different technology and different areas that can help me to grow not only my professional skills, but also my mental and, emotional well-being, so that I would be able to continue what I'm doing right now. And be more creative and innovative, and surround myself with people who are way ahead of me, so that I can use as my mentors and coaches who can support me. But also professionally, of course, I would like to grow and scale our operation in Afghanistan, to build a bigger educational platform, so that the girls and women in Afghanistan, doesn't matter where they are, they can access the system. But also for many girls and women from Afghanistan who are in different parts of the world and they are displaced, to be able to access that through education, mentorship, and job placements. So that's the goal I have, to be able to continue our work and reach out to more girls and women, and provide more tech and job placement supports. But ideally, I would like to break the barriers, not only in Afghanistan, but also in tech and STEM field and globally, and support women in especially war and conflict areas that they don't have equal resources to be able to join this global economy and be part of this big ecosystem, and a network of women in tech that they can support each other, and connect each other with different opportunities.
Your hopes and aspirations are truly motivating. Thank you so much for sharing them with us today. Uh, and thank you so much for joining us and sharing your incredible journey and valuable insights. Unfortunately, we are at the end of our time, and due to the time constraints, we have to conclude our conversation here. We would like to extend our heartfelt thanks to our guest, dear Fereshteh Forough, for her inspiring contributions and to our audience for tuning in. It has been truly inspiring to learn about your work and vision for the future. We greatly appreciate your time and look forward to seeing the continued impact of your efforts in empowering women and advancing technology. Thank you once again, and we wish you all the best in your future endeavors. To our
Thank you
audience, thank
so
you.
much.
Thank you. And to our audience, thank you for listening. Be sure to look out for our next episodes and conversations with an inspiring guests on our podcast, FemTech. Until next time, thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, guys. Thanks.